Hi readers, welcome to Novels with Nat. In today's video, I want to talk about the 5 books on my TBR that I am intimidated to read / mildly terrified to read. So these books have been on my TBR, most of them for quite a while, and I keep putting them off because I'm scared to read them for various reasons. So I thought we could chat about them a little bit, and maybe if you've read any of these books, let me know in the comments if I should be scared or if I should just get over it and just pick them up already. All right, so the first book I'm going to talk about is a horror book, and it is on my TBR because the premise sounds interesting, and it is Tender is the Flesh. So I enjoy horror. I do read horror books, but it's just something about the premise of this one that freaks me out a little bit, and I'm kind of squeamish about it, honestly. And so that's why I have not picked it up. But I really would like to. I think the premise is interesting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the basic idea of it is that we are in a world where people eat people, and there are people that are raised as food kind of situation. And then there's kind of perhaps a bit of a connection that's made between a person that is raised for food and a person that is not. That's the extent of what I know about it. The idea sounds interesting, but it does make my stomach turn a little bit just thinking about it. So I have been putting it off, but I have heard such amazing things about this book. Everyone that has read it has said it's one of their favorite horror books. And so I really would like to give it a shot. It's also a pretty small book, so I feel like it's not intimidating in that sense. It's just intimidating in content sense. So if you have read this one, let me know in the comments if it's something that was like if you're squeamish with like body horror or any kind of stuff like that. Like, let me know if I should avoid it or if I should pick it up. All right, this next one that I am intimidated to read is a new release. It just came out, but I've been hearing kind of mixed stuff about it, and it is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang. So the premise of this one sounds right up my alley, like dark academia, perfect for fall. And when I heard about the premise, I was like, yes, I'm sold. I want to read this. It's basically about 2 graduate students who have to work together and go to the underworld, in a sense, to rescue their professor. Now, I love the idea of any kind of a book that's dark academia themed, like centered around academia. I love that. I have a bit of a history in academia, so I definitely love the idea of that, or the premise of that. But what I have heard from people is that they are saying that basically you need to have a PhD to understand this book, and I definitely don't have a PhD. I have a master's, but not a PhD. And so I'm afraid that perhaps I'm going to be a bit too stupid to understand this book, based on people's reviews, that it just kind of is going to go over my head. And so I've been nervous to pick it up. It hasn't been out for a long time, but I get nervous about books that I'm going to not understand as I'm reading it, because that's never fun. I feel like it kind of ruins the reading experience when you feel like you're like 5 steps behind in terms of grasping the concept of what's going on, who the characters are, the world building, the magic system, all of that. And so I have not yet picked it up. I am on hold at the library, and I think I'm in first spot next. So I am going to be getting it very soon, and so I just need to pick it up. But I'm nervous because I feel like if I start to get confused, that I'm going to be disappointed, or that I'm going to not enjoy it if I'm confused, because nobody likes to be confused. All right, this next one I feel like is on everybody's list of books that they are intimidated to read, and it is the one and only A Little Life. This one I have not yet read, and I am terrified to read it. I've heard that it is very traumatic, it is very emotional, it is very sort of gut-wrenching and heartbreaking, and I don't particularly love reading sad books, not my favorite. But I saw it for $1 at a used book sale, so I thought, okay, for $1, I will give it a shot. But if it starts to get really dark and like just depressing, I'll probably DNF it. But I'm nervous to try it. I've had it for a year now, and I have not touched it. I have not picked it up. I have not attempted it, because I just don't want to read a sad book, in all honesty, especially a sad book that is, what is this, like 800 pages, something like that? 800 and like 15 pages. So that is a long book to read something so depressing. So I will try it, but I think I am rightfully scared with this one. I think I should be scared. Okay, next up we have a series. So I am not a fantasy reader, generally speaking. I can probably count on one hand how many fantasy books I've read. And this is a very, very, very popular one that I have not yet read or attempted. I do have the entire series that I picked up from a thrift store for like $10, which was a crazy deal. So I decided to just go for it. But I am nervous to read this because number one, I feel like you have to be smart to read fantasy. Not that this is like a very complex fantasy from my understanding, but I just don't typically read fantasy, so I feel like my mind isn't used to that style of writing. Um, but it is the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas. I've never read anything by Sarah J. Maas. I have read Fourth Wing. It's like the only romantasy I've ever read. So I'm wondering if this one is in the same vein as that, like fairly straightforward for someone who is not a fantasy reader. I think the main reason I'm also intimidated by this is because this book is not bad. It's pretty short. But then books 2 and 3 just get really long. And also book 5, I think it is. This one looks like it's just over 400 pages. So that's doable. The other books I think go into like the 6 or 700-ish, just based off the look of them. I haven't actually checked the page count, but I'm nervous about the length of this series, and then also because it's a genre outside of my comfort zone, but I would like to try it. I wanted to try Fourth Wing. Did I love it? No. Will I continue in the series? No. But I am glad that I read it so I could see what the hype was about, so I could, sort of be in the loop with what's popular and what other people are enjoying. So I don't regret reading it. And so I would like to give this one a shot as well. If I enjoy it, then I'll definitely continue in the series, but if not, I probably won't. All right, the last book on my list, I have to, of course, include as a Stephen King. I feel like everybody on their intimidated books to read list has a Stephen King because he can be intimidating. His books are often horror, they're often very long, and they can be pretty dense, and his writing style is often very like waffly and long-winded, which doesn't always jive with my reading taste. But this book I have heard such amazing things about, and it is one of the longest books on my TBR, if not the longest. And it is, oh my gosh, I can't even pick it up. It is 11/22/63. So I think this is historical fiction time travel, if I'm not mistaken. Not in my comfort zone. But what I have heard from people is that even if it is not a genre that you typically like to read, that they still completely enjoyed it and loved the characters and the journey. And so I want to see what the hype is about. I would like to give it a shot. It is very heavy. It is very long. It's 850-ish pages. And so I think I just haven't picked this one up because I feel like it's such a commitment. Like if I'm reading this book, I'm going to be reading it for weeks. And so I'm like, do I want to commit like half of my month of reading to one book? I will eventually, but it just hasn't come up that I've been wanting to put that much energy into one book. So just thinking about it in that sense, I'm like, do I want to be reading the same book for weeks or like the majority of my reading month? And so that's why I haven't picked it up yet. But I've heard such good things about it and I really would like to try it. So let me know in the comments if you have read this book and if you enjoyed it. Did you find it too long or long-winded? Let me know. Stephen King has been hit or miss for me. I've enjoyed some of what I've read from him. I really loved Billy Summers. I loved Pet Sematary. But then some of his books I wasn't too fond of. Like, I didn't love Misery, actually. I also didn't love The Institute, which I read. So yeah, it's been pretty hit or miss. And so I feel like for an author that's been hit or miss for me, it's kind of turns me off when the book that I want to pick up next is this long. But again, I've heard such good things. I will read it. Let me know if I should read it sooner rather than later. Okay, I can check off my workout for the day. Holding this book up has definitely been enough of a workout for today. Kidding, of course. All right, so those are the top 5 books on my TBR that I'm most intimidated / terrified to read. Let me know in the comments, number 1, if you've read any of these books and if you think I should or shouldn't be afraid to read them. And then number 2, let me know in the comments, what is the book on your TBR that you are most intimidated to read, that you keep putting off, but you really want to read it, but for whatever reason, it's just intimidating, it's scary, it is something that you're nervous about, but you know that it's something that you want to try. Let me know in the comments what that book is for you. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. I talk about all kinds of things, bookish, book related. I love chatting about books, so that's what I do on here. Also leave a comment. I would love to chat to you in the comments about anything related to books. It's always fun to get comments from anyone watching these videos. And I'll see you in another one very soon. Bye.